Good evening, everyone. It is Monday evening, December 22nd, 2025. I hope you all are having a pre-Christmas Eve day. I know tomorrow is not Christmas Eve, but you get the idea. Christmas Eve is just around the corner, and a lot of you are shopping at grocery stores. I didn't go shopping today, but I was out and about, and roads were packed. So telling us that a lot of people are out and about doing their pre-Christmas shopping before Christmas Day rolls on through. But I'll tell you what, it's weather comes first in this case, because I'll tell you, big storm out here is getting ready to settle in across much of central, southern, and even northern California. And this storm right here, this is going to be a big puppy. This is going to be big. There's going to be some very, very strong winds with this one. I'll explain on how strong those winds are going to get and the timing of those winds and the heaviest rainfall and the potential for water spouts and a severe weather event that unfolds across Northern California on Thursday. Tell you, everything that you don't want to have with a storm is coming together, unfortunately, in time for Christmas. Yeah, in time for Christmas. That's our Christmas present. So with that being said, before I do get started, share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already, folks, because tomorrow night is prime time here on the channel, as I will likely be live streaming our Stormy night into early Wednesday morning. And there might be some lightning and power outages, so we'll see how that goes once things get really rocking tomorrow night. Right now outside, though, it's 54.8, humidity 99%, and we do have some dense fog outside. So, yeah, it's foggy tonight. We have too much cloud cover, I guess. But that fog will be gone, long gone by tomorrow morning, as the winds are going to be picking up. So looking at the satellite imagery here on our storm system, we can clearly see where this energy is. So let me speed things up a little bit. So right here, see this little curly Q? It really gets its act together right in here in the last few frames, and that is the beginnings of a rapidly deepening surface low. You have winds that are doing this. You have winds coming in on the backside, wrapping all the way around here. And this is a signature of a rapidly organizing system in the subtropical region. And this is going to hook pretty quickly off to the northeast and get very close to California's coast in time for late tomorrow night into the day Wednesday morning. But it looks like midday Wednesday, there's a very small break in there, probably 6 or 7 hours, where things should settle down a little bit. Not so much the rain, but the wind should come down a little bit before a much stronger, more dangerous storm system settles in on central and northern and even southern California on Thursday. So let's take a look at the models here, and I wanted to explain on why we are seeing what we're seeing. Like, how is it possible to get 3 impulses of moisture? The one coming in tomorrow night, another one Wednesday night into Thursday, or most of day Thursday, and then maybe another one sweeping on through late Thursday night into Friday. Well, it's all because of this trough. So if you follow the wind barbs here, winds are doing this. So they're coming around like this, like a trough, like, because you see a trough here. So the flow is doing that. You got a ridge in the Midwest. You got a trough out here in the Eastern Pacific. And this trough axis is neutrally tilted right now. And it's going to become somewhat negatively tilted as we go into Thursday. But watch what happens here. So your surface low, the leading storm system, is tucked underneath this jet streak, okay, where we got some upper level baroclinic ascent. Very good jet stream dynamics here. Divergent flow aloft, increasing flow at 500 millibars, and this is going to allow a lifting, and this supports lift in the atmosphere. And when you have lift in the atmosphere, you lower the pressure beneath it, and that's where we get our surface low. So watch what happens here, and notice the foxtail look here, how the flow kind of backs out like this. It's very classic of a maturing system. So what ends up happening here is by Tuesday morning, by Tuesday afternoon, look at this flow here. This really gets going very, very quickly. This accelerates to great speeds off the coast of California. You go literally from maybe 50 to 60 knot winds at 500 millibars to now seeing winds really increasing to now over 100 knots at 500 millibars and potentially even stronger. 115 knots over the Bay Area and over much of California. And that's going to really support that lift, that dynamical lift for a surface low to deepen pretty quickly. Not as quick as what some other models were showing. There are a couple of models that do go very aggressive at this one, really, really explosively deepening. But the one comes in on Thursday is even deeper. And so that's what we have here is that leading storm system, a nice good left exit region of exhaust poleward here, a divergent flow aloft. Boy, I'm telling you, this is a dynamical setup for very, very heavy rainfall and some severe weather as well during the day, more than likely on Wednesday. So that goes through really strong jet streak ripping over our area. And then here comes the next trough axis. So it's kind of like a little spoke wheel. Here's the center axle of a wheel on a bicycle, right? And then you got little spokes attached to this. Here's another one here, and then here's another one right in here. And each of these present their own hazard. Enhanced winds, enhanced lift, meaning showers and thunderstorms, and some high elevation snow and orographic effects. So you can see here's a little bit of a perturbation here. Here's another little perturbation here. This is going to be pretty much early to mid-afternoon, so the winds actually might pick up a little bit there. That's why I think Wednesday is just going to be a breezy to almost windy day, but not as windy as it will be very, very early Wednesday morning. More than likely an overnight event than anything. And then here comes the main spoke of a wheel of lower pressure and divergent flow aloft. And this one, this is a big daddy. This is the big one right here. Very good dynamical lift and divergent flow aloft. Nice, good jet streak entering in on the right front quadrant here into California. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is how you get a very strong bona fide system off the California coast. And then we'll see about this little guy right here, another little spoke of a trough, a little bit of a perturbation rotating into California again as we go into Thursday night into Friday. That is why, just because, it's really all about Tuesday night and a Wednesday and Wednesday night into Thursday. Yeah, that's basically the bullseye on a target out of this whole event is these two systems. But there will be moderate to heavy rainfall even through early Friday or through most of the day Friday as well. Okay, it's just the worst of this will be between Tuesday afternoon all the way through Thursday midday and even later on in the day as well. Or actually, yeah, pretty much that. Because that's where we get the wind, the thunderstorms. Some of them are severe and tornadic. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But boy, I'll tell you, what an energetic storm system that we will be dealing with here. And then after that, things look to calm down a little bit. But we're not sure about what this trough is going to do here. Models are really doing some interesting things with it. If it cuts off like this off of the jet stream, though, yeah, Southern California and even our area, we may be not done at all with rainfall, even into New Year's Eve, that is, before maybe the return of more generic type storm systems thereafter. I don't think there's not really a whole lot of dry times in here, particularly only maybe for about 3 or 4 days we get some dry weather here. But it looks really, really, really active on an overall long-term scale, at least, with some dry days in there. But just we're not talking 2 or 3 weeks of dry weather. We're only talking maybe 2 or 3 days of dry weather instead. So that's that on there. Let's time out the rainfall. Because, yes, what I just showed you was just upper level winds, right? And the energy of these troughs that are moving through. But what does this mean for the surface? So looking at I believe this is this the model that I want? Actually, let's go and look at 3-kilometer model. So we'll use a NAM 3 and then the 12 for the extended, and then look at other models. So here's a look at the NAM 3-kilometer first. As you can see, yeah, rain is gone out of most of our area, even including Southern California. So going to the mountains tonight is a good choice. Going into the mountains tomorrow is a good choice. But going to the mountains, which we'll explain here after that, is not so of a good choice, and I'll explain why. So you can see here, pretty much on this model, yeah, looks like most of the day, Tuesday, looks good. Looks good. No snow for the mountains. Everyone's dry, especially up here that had too much rainfall over the last few days. You're finally going to dry out for a little bit here. However, interestingly enough, the NAM 3 kilometers picking up some rain down here in San Diego. Yeah, one would really think, wow, it's actually raining in San Diego. It's like, that's like going north, and this is like going south. I mean, literally, you got some rain down there in San Diego, maybe tomorrow afternoon, but it's going to be very quick, and it's not going to be amounting to a whole lot right away. But I want you to pay attention to this low right here. This is the area that we're really concerned about, because what's going to happen is this is going to pinwheel all the way around and kind of do something like that. And as it does so, well, more, I'm over-exaggerating, more kind of like that. There we go. That's a little bit better. And that's going to really bring our winds up and our rainfall. So by Tuesday night, you can see the rain increasing. This model doesn't show a whole lot of rainfall. I think we will see more than what this model actually shows, which is why I'm going to compare different models with you all in this live stream. But look at how deep this gets. 984, 982, 981, 979, 978. This gets pretty deep. That's a 971 millibar low right there. Very, very close to Fort Bragg, as well as, yeah, Eureka, boy. That's full destruction. That is a hurricane-like windstorm around this low right here. Very tight isobars. That will be something that will make a lot of headlines on social media because of how strong those winds are going to be. It is definitely raining in Southern California, and that's another thing with this. Yeah, the wind is one thing, but look at the rainfall. This is going to be a big talk as well, and this line right in here could generate some water spouts and even some tornadoes and water spouts out ahead of this too. So as we go forward, yeah, that is a lot of rainfall. It's dumping. Once it starts raining down here in much of Central and Southern California, it's going to rain and rain and rain for a while. And this model is, I don't want to say it's not very aggressive, but it is underdoing it, I think. I think we're going to see more rainfall than what this model actually shows. And then as we go into Wednesday night, no, wait, is this? Yeah, Wednesday night. Yeah, see these storms right here? See these little cells? With wind southeasterly like this, and you get flow doing this, there will be a risk for organized convection, organized thunderstorms. Some of the storms producing water spouts, tornadoes. Yeah, you don't hear that very often in California, but there might be tornadoes, nighttime tornadoes in California, in the Central Valley, which is most prone, especially up here in the valley north of Sacramento, where you get winds that are actually more backed. So you get more southeasterly flow like this. So you get flow doing that. And then you get your flow aloft that does this. And there's going to be directional speech here aloft with height. And that is going to organize our convection there. And then of course, going forward here into Thursday, yeah, see this right here? This is bad. This is not good at all. You can see along this front, you got mesovortices along this cold front, all kind of buckled out here. As you see, those could be strong water spouts. I would not be surprised if we get localized intense thunderstorms along this cold front attached to this 980 millibar low that the NAM 3 kilometer is picking up on. So yeah, it looks dry here, but boy, this line would be something to really be concerned about. This would have a lot of wind damage with it, and certainly some tornadic-like wind damage. Yeah, I'm not joking around when I say that. This is very, very strong. This is a really powerful cold front that's moving on in. So that's something to consider for our area. And then, of course, same model, but not as high resolution. Take note, though, of the snow as well. Snow levels do come down on Wednesday. So Tuesday night, they are up. Wednesday morning, they come down. So we end up seeing lower snow levels. And then this is a day to stay inside and to not travel in the mountains. Yeah, on Wednesday too, by the way, do not travel. Do not travel in the mountains. Don't go to Reno. Don't go to Lake Tahoe unless you go tomorrow, because this is some pretty heavy snowfall, heavy rain in the valley. Winds as well are going to be a big problem. And wait until I show you the winds in the modeling here in a little bit. But that's that showing us that 985 millibar system. Okay. So timeline here is tomorrow is a day to get into the mountains if you want to travel. Tomorrow basically is a traveling day. If you're going to travel north on I-5, do it. If you're going to travel south on I-5, do it. Tomorrow is a day to travel out of state to Oregon or even to Arizona, because the weather is going to be great tomorrow. But it is going to be, once we go into Tuesday night and even into Wednesday, though, that will be a day to not travel, because the snow is going to be coming down and it's going to be bad. It really is. It's not a day to mess around with, okay? And power outages, that sort of thing. Let's take a look now at another model that I wanted to introduce you all to. It's the RFS model on pivotal weather. It is the GSL MP8SG. That's the model that I'm using, and that is the RFS. Let's look at this one. So what this model is indicating. By the way, this is an experimental model, so I wouldn't 100 billion rely on it, but it's been doing a pretty good job at it, at the system. Got a 981. I think it's be about 985, 984, I think is the deepest this is going to get. But take note, rainfall is going to start increasing on this model. Let's see. This is about 5 o'clock. Going to get some sprinkles in the valley potentially. I can see that happening. And then really Tuesday late night. This is around, let's see, about 8 or 9 o'clock. It's raining pretty good in the valley. Now, this is just a simulation. This is not what will 100% happen. Nothing ever is 100% here. So if you see something like this, oh, it's going to rain, yay, we're going to get more rain. This is not a 100% forecast, okay? This is just what the model sees based on initial conditions. This could come a little later, a little faster, a little slower, that sort of thing. But what it does show is some good rainfall here overnight, Tuesday into Wednesday. And then this is when I get a little worried, not as worried as I will be on Thursday. But see these lines of heavy rainfall right here? These little comma shapes, little cells. That's where there's a little bit of spin in the atmosphere where we can get some organized storms developing on the back side of that front. Here's your actual cold front right back in here. And so storms initiating just out ahead of that might make things a little interesting. But the heaviest rainfall is going to be in Southern California with this event. And you can see it's pretty good. Nice, good, soaking, steady rainfall here in the LA basin for several hours. That rolls through and that's done. And that again would be arriving for Southern California for the timing of that. So rainfall will start in LA more likely Wednesday morning around the morning commute. If you are commuting for Christmas Eve, I know a lot of people have off Christmas Eve. Not me, unfortunately. Got to work Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but I'll be off early otherwise. But yeah, the rain is going to start Wednesday morning for Christmas Eve in the LA basin. It's going to be almost done in the valley and in the Bay Area at around that time, but still maybe some leftover stuff behind that. And there's really not a good reprieve here. It's still going to be raining in the southern end of the valley here. You can see some showers kind of just parked out here. I would still include a shower chance pretty much south of I-80 throughout the day Wednesday in this kind of environment, just because if we get any surface heating, we could get some thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. We got some very heavy Mountain Sierra snowfall in Lake Tahoe, south of Truckee, all the way into Bear Valley, including all the way back here to Mount Whitney and even further south here to near like Mariposa County, getting a lot of snow in the higher elevations there. Again, Wednesday is a day to not travel in the mountains. Even so, yes, the valley looks good. That doesn't mean you can just take your Suburban or your GMC vehicle up the hill and find it. Well, it looks like it's snowing harder than we thought. That's orographic lift, and there will be some of that. And then it turns a little more showery Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening before the main event comes in. And this really, this is big. Look at that curly Q low right there. It's a 977 millibar system. Very heavy rainfall. This would be for Thursday early morning. This model indicates the timing quite well. Very heavy snow, and look at this. This is just very intense snowfall rates of at least 3 inches an hour, perhaps, here in the mountains for Thursday morning, Christmas Day. Hopefully none of you are traveling anywhere on Thursday because you've already made your travels on Tuesday, as I repeatedly said. Southern California looks to get a slim break before maybe some rainfall, some heavier pockets roll in there. But this one is going to be more targeted, I would say, here and northward on Thursday. Southern California may get a shower or two, maybe another 1/10 of an inch or so. But really, the leading storm Tuesday night into Wednesday is more for Southern California and lesser for far Northern California, if that makes sense. You can see that, again, more kind of scattered in nature here, not really steady, constant, moderate to heavy rainfall. It's going to be more in pockets. Dry, briefly, maybe somewhat dry on Wednesday, depending on where you're at. I wouldn't call it a dry day, but drier than it will be on early Wednesday morning, and then stormy Thursday and Friday is what we're looking at here. But look at this. This is Thursday night. It is still snowing pretty good in the mountains here, including for Reno and even Carson City getting some snow. So now let's take a look at the European model, because now, of course, we want to look at all of our models, right? High-res models are not as optimistic, but the Euro has a different way to say this. Let's look at the European model, the ECMWF. There it is, ECMWF. And this is for the 0Z model initialization that came out just recently. And this is that storm system that's coming in tomorrow night. This shows more scattered in nature, more widespread. In a worst case scenario, the European model has done quite well with this last storm. So I'm putting a little bit more weight on the Euro with this type of setup here. I think we are really going to start seeing a lot of rainfall really picking up mainly Tuesday evening for your evening commute. Some showers and maybe a thunderstorm here popping up. And then, yes, so overnight, you might be woken up of the wind. The wind is going to be howling. We're going to probably see fallen trees, branches. We'll look at the wind speeds here in a little bit. But boy, this is some heavy rainfall up here. This one shows more heavy rainfall than what the high-res models were showing. Some oranges here indicating pockets of heavier rainfall. And this is where we could see water spouts making landfall in the North Bay. And then look at this. So this rolls through, still raining, by the way, well into Wednesday morning here. Oops. Don't know what happened there. Everything just froze up on me. There we go. So that is Wednesday early morning. Now, this model likes to not show snowfall. I think we're definitely going to have snow here in the Sierra, rain snow mix at least. That's a wet snow at 10,000 feet. But look at this. In Southern California, that is some very, very heavy rainfall. Like that's orange, orange, orange. If we zoom out, that is a half an inch of rain an hour, maybe even an inch of rain an hour down there. This is the sort of thing that is going to lead to a lot of landslides, rock slides, debris flows on the newly burned, scarred areas from wildfires that did burn earlier this year, and the potential for water spouts and tornadoes. Yes, this line, you can kind of see it all etched out, demarcated here. I would not be surprised if we do see a little bit of these curlicues barricaded in this line headed into Southern California. Okay, and this is the sort of thing that will lead to significant flooding on rivers, streams, and creeks, including street flooding, urban flooding as well. So that moves through and tapers off as we go into Wednesday night into Thursday before this monster gets going. 987 millibar with another cold front attached to it, more like a trowel, in other words. But look at that. That's a curlicue. Look at this. This is incredible structure right here. Let me turn this off. See this? That is a signature of a comma, a signature of a very intense matured cyclone swinging hard left into our area. Snow levels actually might be a little high to start off, but then the colder air moves in, and that will snowfall levels will plummet. And this is when we would see severe weather. I'm really betting on severe weather Thursday because the winds are going to be very strong throughout Thursday. Even behind the front, we're still going to have the southwesterly flow, even southerly and southeasterly in the Central Valley, with southwesterly overspreading the winds at the surface from the southeasterly. So, yes, tornadoes and severe weather and supercells are not out of the question. And that even moves into Southern California on this model. So this is more aggressive. Actually, I'd probably even include barely the LA basin in this based on the Euro, since it's done quite well with that. And then, of course, boy, going to the Sierra, even Friday morning is really a bad day to go. Really. And I would probably just say Friday night too, chain controls will probably be up still. So I would probably not be traveling in the mountains even through all day Friday. So Tuesday, go travel. Wednesday, don't travel in the mountains. Thursday, don't travel in the mountains. Friday, don't travel in the mountains, and do it Saturday. I know a lot of you are like, oh, I want to get up there though still for Christmas. Well, you can do it tomorrow. It's not Christmas Eve until Wednesday. Do it tomorrow. Don't do it last minute. That's how accidents, spin outs happen. That's how major delays happen and road closures happen, just because people don't listen, don't take this seriously. Okay? So GFS, last but not least, there's your snow there. Here's your next storm on the GFS. Now, this model has been going a little crazy and a little bit off the hook with how close this gets. This is really close to California on this model, on the 18Z run. The last model, or the latest model run, a little further away, but still doesn't mean much for our area, because this cold front is going to be moving through. This model really is aggressive. Thursday night, that's why I think Thursday night is another area to watch for stronger winds, heavier rainfall. The winds should not be as strong, though, with this one as what we will see nights prior to this. But yeah, that's going to be pretty heavy snowfall for the Sierra foothills and mountains for sure. And then this model keeps things quite active through the entire day Friday. That's why I think Friday right now is a day to not travel. Even so, it's not as bad. We still have good snow in the mountains, some good valley rainfall in our area, in the Bay Area. And then things dry out. And then this comes in. I think we just looked at this, didn't we? Did we? I think we did. Okay, yeah. So we did look at the GFS earlier on Pivotal Weather on that. So let's talk about the rainfall totals, and then we'll get to the wind. So rainfall totals, yeah, still looking pretty aggressive through the next, through Friday afternoon. I would say, yeah, this goes through Friday night. So additional rainfall for the Sierra foothills and mountains, probably another 8 to 10 inches. Another 8 to 10 inches for the mountains in the foothills. The valley, more likely between 2 to 4 inches. Here's a 3.4 inch mark in Fresno. Down here near Bakersfield, you're probably only going to see about 1.5 inches. Sacramento, maybe another 3 inches of rain. And then up here in Chico, might see another 4 inches, 5 inches there in Redding. Not as rainy or as wet than what we saw in a short amount of time over the weekend, but still going to be wet. The Santa Cruz Mountains still looking at another 6 to 8 inches of rainfall. The Big Sur coastline, San Benito valleys as well, looking at some good rainfall. Big Sur coast, mountain range there, 8 inches. And then boy, oh boy, Southern California. Yeah, a foot of rainfall in a matter of a couple of days on the national blend of models. Look at this. This is pretty impressive rainfall totals. You've had a lot of rain this fall already back in October and November. You're getting more rainfall for your area. So LA, maybe 6 inches by the time we get into Friday. Yeah, about 5 inches. You've got 6 to 7 inches. And again, the San Gabriel Mountains, the Hollywood, or Santa Monica Mountains, where Hollywood is, maybe 8 inches. And then the Tehachapi's down here in Calabasas, as well as the Simi Valley, San Fernando Valley, as well as Fraser Park, might see a foot of rainfall. It's a lot of water. I'll tell you, I'm glad California is getting it. This is, we're not in drought, and that's a good thing. And this is going to help with the water, with California's water supply. Because, you all back in the Midwest that are watching this, probably, most of you are probably watching this from the Midwest. You guys get rain any time of the year. California, you really don't get much in the summertime unless it's a monsoonal type pattern. We were very fortunate to get some of that in September with our monsoonal outbreaks that we kind of had. But really, it's all tailored to December, January, February, and March, and maybe perhaps in April is where we get the majority of our water into our watersheds and the snowfall as well. Okay, really quickly, let's take a look at snow Get snowfall. So we have probably about 5 to 8 feet of snow in the mountains here. More of the high elevation stuff. Lake Tahoe, some of the resorts here could get maybe 3 or 4 feet of snow, especially beyond Wednesday into Thursday. But boy, these higher elevations, 168 inches, got 168 there. I don't see anything higher than 168. So, yeah, possibly up to 8 feet, 9 feet of snow down here in the Central Sierra. That's really good. It's what we need. We want that runoff to fill the reservoirs for the spring melt-off. Because once we get into spring, this slowly melts and fills our reservoirs. Our rivers start flowing and things start filling up. Reservoirs help California. So that's not good for traveling, but good for the water supply for the summer, the upcoming summer of 2026. All right, so let's talk about the wind with this system. Let's go to here. Yeah, let's go to here. So, back out. So the wind, this is the NAM 3 kilometer, which has been more consistent, in other words. So here's the wind forecast. I know it's hard to tell here, but this is California. Here is Southern California coast. Here is Monterey, the Bay Area. You get your bearings. That's what we're looking at. Here is the Sacramento Valley, San Joaquin Valley. Watch what happens. So the winds are calm tonight. So don't be surprised if there's fog in the morning. We're seeing some fog outside right now. Patchy fog at best right now. You could expect that fog to expand a little bit tonight. But unlike previous fog events, the recent fog event that we got done having a week ago, this fog will burn off and mix out mechanically tomorrow because the wind is going to come up and blow that and scour it all out. So don't expect it to be foggy, cloudy, stratusy all day tomorrow. The wind comes up. So the first half of the day, winds are light, under 5 or so miles an hour. And then once this thing inches closer and gets really going, the winds really come up, especially after about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Winds are really going to be strong here across Southern California, along the Bay Area coast, including for the Central Valley. Man, look at this right here. This is a big, very, very strong low right here. That winds there 74 knots. That is a hurricane. That is hurricane force winds. I'm really surprised the National Weather Service hasn't really taken a better detailed look at this. This is moving around a little bit, but it has been quite consistent, especially in the last 3 model runs, showing a very strong steam jet working its way up the Bay Area coast. That's going to bring wind for our area, although depending on how close this gets will depend on the winds, how strong they exactly get tomorrow night. But I think they're going to be definitely strong enough to blow down trees, power lines, that sort of thing, enough to really cause problems. But look at this right here. That is 91 knot winds at the surface. And yeah, even getting close to 100 knots. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Boy, if I was not working, I would be going out to Fort Bragg and chasing this. This is a very, very, very strong surface low, and that moves out. And actually, for those that are curious, what about Oregon then? Looks like it's threatening Oregon. Let's go up to Oregon. And oh yeah. Oh yeah, Portland. Sorry, Portland, you might be getting 80-mile-an-hour winds with that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's really bad for the metro area. That's quite destructive, actually. Wouldn't surprise me if this stays true. They're going to have lots of high wind warnings up there because of this little spinny thingy that goes up the coast. That is very, very strong. Yeah, look at this low-level flow here. That's 82 knots. Even stronger. Oh, yeah. 100-knot low-level jet. 850 millibar, 5,000-foot level jet here. Wow. 100-knot wind up there in Oregon. Yeah, Portland. That's going to do a lot of damage. There will be a lot of damage done with that. If that sticks in future model runs, that's going to do a lot of damage. That's very bad. That is pretty significant. So something to consider if you're going up to Oregon and trying to avoid this system. You might not be avoiding it Monday nights or Tuesday night system. But yeah, for us though, let's look at wind gusts. Let's go back here. Make sure I got that right. So this is when we get gusts in the valley up to 50, 55 even. Possibly even locally stronger up here in Redding. Probably over 50 or 60 miles an hour. And then there it is, right there. There it is. Wind gusts over 100 miles an hour along the coast. That is substantial. It's one of those things, if this trends further east, say the low forms underneath here and works its way up, oh man, this is really going to be bad for the Bay Area and even for parts of the Sacramento Valley. So yeah, we're really going to need to watch this tomorrow night system because this is fragile. You can just see, look at prior model runs. This is shifting around a little bit. You can see each run has a different position on this. It's very, very hard to say exactly where this is going to set up, where this is going to close off. If it closes off a lot closer and it's deeper, stronger damaging wind event tomorrow night. If this is a little further offshore and takes the same track like this, lesser of a wind problem with wind gusts between 40, maybe 45 to 55. Nonetheless, winds will be strong tomorrow night, but certainly will be in the danger zone, enough to bring down power lines. Let's look at the next storm. So that moves on through. And here's the next one. The NAM 3-kilometer model showing gusts well over 40 to 45 miles an hour. Thursday morning on this. That's interesting. This one is a little slower than most of our models. Like the GFS is faster with the frontal progression. So NAM 3-kilometer, use that with a little caution. But yeah, look at this system right here. This thing is, if I can whistle, can't even whistle good. Wow. This one is big. Prior run had the low a little closer right here. So again, exact track of this low going to be important. Still betting winds in the valley well in excess of 30 miles an hour Thursday morning. Overnight Wednesday into Thursday with that. And still quite windy throughout the day Thursday. I don't think winds are going to settle down very much. Maybe a little bit here for Thursday late morning into early afternoon. And then with this second piece of energy right here advecting over the region, winds are going to pick up a little bit, maybe up to about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And this little guy right here, another little satellite area of lower pressure and a cold front, that gets close enough, that can do more wind for us too. So there is a lot of moving parts. Definitely a stormy Wednesday, I would say. Thursday is going to be just flat out stormy. Stay home. It's a stay home day on Thursday. Southern California for sure going to get the wind with the first system. The second system may not have as much of wind with it on the GFS. And then things are closed for business with the storms after that. See if there's anything else out of the radar we need to talk about. Let's look at the euro. The euro's already in. Nice, good high goes to the north. Got a nice little trough here on the 3rd day of January. Ooh, that right there looks strong. Very far out. The land of hope and dreams, the land of uncertainty. That would be another bombing cyclone off of California, though. That one would be a testimony for our medicine. Oh, yeah. That would be a big guy, Raptor, which, by the way, you're watching this live stream. If the euro, I mean, that's very far out, hypothetically too far out to even make a forecast on this. But, ooh, that would be really strong. That would be a big one. But fortunately, that is very, very far out. But it does tell us the pattern remains quite busy, quite stormy, quite unsettled through the extended forecast. More rain chances coming in early January, including this one. This is going to be interesting here. The first couple of days of January might not be dry. Really, the only dry period we get is going to be the last few days of December, and then things get active again. Yeah. That's what we're looking at. So I wanted to show you all something. This is what I created. Let's see if I can bring it up. Oh, I got PowerPoint. So let's do this. Can you guys see this just fine? Please let me know. Let me know if you guys can see this just good. Okay, that won't make it any better. Okay. Because I want to talk a little bit about this, because this relates to our storm system. Honestly, the pattern doesn't really support a huge blocking ridge at the moment over California. That's at least good for right now. Yeah, and I'll talk more about that, because it's something interesting someone pointed out on social media is Western Canada in all of this. So can you guys see this? because I want to talk a little bit about this product that I introduced earlier this year. Hello? Hello? Anybody there? Oh, yeah, it is sure foggy outside. Wow. Definitely foggy. It is foggy outside. Whew, it's bad. Very bad. Yeah, so let's talk about this. So this right here is what I introduced. This is not from the National Weather Service at all. This is all hand created, handmade up by me. Okay, I'm not trying to get my ego in here. This is actually something that I have experimented with and decided making this public, showing you all this. So what do these mean? All right. What does this all mean to you in California? Areas in pink, and we'll get to the flood risk in Southern California here in a second after this, actually. I almost forgot about that. So this pink area in the Sierra, along the coast, and in Southern California, this is in an extreme storm warning. That means extreme stormy conditions are likely. This means you could have wind gusts 65 miles an hour or greater, or, okay, doesn't mean everything that you see here. So just because you're under a storm warning or an extreme storm warning doesn't mean you'll see all of this, okay? I want to explain that. You could see strong damaging winds, or you could see 2.5 inches of rain. So looks like this right here. So we'll put a box. We'll put like a green or a yellow box around this right here. So that way you all know. So looks like this is going to verify. Okay, the storm duration is going to verify 18 hours or greater. There could be severe weather likely, and there could be significant flooding possible or likely. So pretty much what you see here is rain is going to be significant. It is going to last long enough. Severe weather is certainly likely. I don't think it's going to be an outbreak, but there will certainly be severe weather for sure. And significant flooding possible or likely, including landslides and debris flows. That's this pink area or magenta area that I've highlighted in Los Angeles. And this is valid from tomorrow night through Wednesday night, December 24th through the 25th, okay? 0Z, so that would be like 4 p.m. tomorrow through 4 p.m. on Wednesday, if that makes sense, okay? This for the Sierra, this pink area is an extreme storm warning for, well, there will certainly be 65 mile an hour wind gusts. So we can say that's going to happen, right? Follow me on this. So we can say that's going to happen. You're going to see 7 feet or more of snowfall. Okay, well, don't worry about the lower elevations. I know some of you are like, oh, are we going to see 7 feet of snow? No, don't worry about that, okay? It's going to be mainly higher up, but this is the general region that I'm concerned about. Storm duration, 18 hours or greater, and you could see significant flooding, especially below the snow line where we get excessive runoff. That's where the extreme storm warning includes, okay? Along the Sierra foothills, including Reno and South Lake Tahoe, Quincy, okay? Just above Auburn, Colfax, Placerville, okay? But does include it in Pollock Pines, especially just above that, kind of flirting in that range. And then this extreme storm warning along the coast here, you might be like, whoa, wait, why there? Well, because we're going to see 65 mile an hour wind gusts. That's going to be the primary driver with all of this. And For sure, there's going to be probably more likely at least 2.5 inches or greater of rainfall in a short amount of time, and it will last 18 hours or longer. And yes, here there could be severe weather, certainly water spouts and tornadoes along the coast and over some of the valley locations. Okay, and significant flooding cannot be ruled out. That is why these 3 areas I have highlighted, because I'm very confident. Again, it takes confidence and probabilistic. Okay, so I'm really confident that these areas will see the worst of the conditions. Now, the areas highlighted in red is a storm warning. Okay, so that's kind of like a high wind warning. That's it's a lower level of product that I have, but it is way up there. That means wind gusts of 55 miles an hour, rain amounts of at least 1 inch to 1 3/4 inches are expected. Mainly wind driven here, by the way. So I don't think there will be 1 3/4 inches of rain in 12 hours. We'll be close in some areas, but I think it will stay underneath that. But it's going to be mainly wind driven. And severe weather also could be a pretty good possibility, and flooding is also a distinct possibility, if not likely, especially on the eastern side of the valley where we do get some of that orographic lift. Not as significant as what we had yesterday and the day before, but still in all something to keep in mind. And I know it's not really here on this map, but it does include for Reno and Las Vegas and parts of Arizona, storm watch. Gusts up to 40 miles an hour or greater, up to 1 inch or greater of rainfall, and flooding is possible. So that's kind of what this orange area indicates. What does that look like on Wednesday night into Thursday? So storm watch I've issued, so I'm not as confident with Thursday's system down here as being as significant, but still enough to assurance a storm watch down there in Los Angeles metro area, including for San Diego, Bakersfield under a storm watch, and then Fresno, Sacramento under a storm warning. This could get upgraded tomorrow night if needed based on latest model guidance. Latest CAMS guidance gives me an idea that, winds are going to be a little stronger than what I first thought. Then I might have to extend this pink area probably even a little bit further south here. Chico, could get gusts over 65 miles an hour with this next storm. Redding, certainly a possibility. Rainfall amounts, not as concerned about that as with the wind. The wind is going to be a big driver in all of this, and a severe weather outbreak in California standards is a distinct possibility as well. Now you're probably like, severe weather outbreak? Does that mean we'll see EF5 tornadoes? No. From a California standpoint, our severe weather outbreaks are different than the ones in the Midwest. When we talk about severe weather outbreaks in California, we're talking about a marginal to slight risk for severe weather. We're talking about a decent possibility for organized supercells to produce tornadoes that are on the lower end of the scale. We're not talking EF5 here, but we're talking a semi-hybrid severe weather outbreak on Thursday behind the cold front with that vertical wind shear that's in place. And that includes for San Francisco, that could get those gusts up to 65 or greater. All right, so that's what this pink area means. So you can kind of see this is tomorrow into Wednesday. This is Wednesday into Thursday. Pretty cool. What do you guys think of it? How do you guys like this? Pretty cool, huh? If you guys like it, give me a thumbs up in chat. Also, next day 2 SPC is due. We'll see about that one when it comes out. Speaking of that, I want to show you something. Let's look at the risk for heavy rainfall in California. So let me change the display here. How do I do that? Display settings. There we go. It's a little bit better. Let's look at this. Yeah, slight risk for heavy rainfall. Let's bring that hydrological statement or hydrological outlook back up. So this is for tomorrow. I believe this is tomorrow. Just a marginal risk up here for Santa Rosa. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. There's only a 5% risk for some minor flooding, residual flooding. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think tomorrow again is a travel day for sure in the mountains. Go to the mountains. Day 2, not so good. Not so good at all. Got a slight risk of heavy rainfall here, Marysville, Colusa County, Chico, Red Bluff, Redding, across the Bay Area, San Rafael, Novato, Petaluma, down on the coast into Monterey, Big Sur, and then down here in Santa Barbara, Thousand Oaks, Ventura, Glendale, got a slight risk for heavy rainfall. That's a 15% risk. Take a look at day 3. Yeah. Right here, this is not good. Not good at all. And this is day 3. So this would be Thursday. No, wait. This would be Wednesday. Now, Wednesday. Really bad. Like, serious. Like Calabasas, Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley, Santa Paula, Fillmore, Santa Clarita, the Calabasas area, Arcadia, West Covina, San Bernardino. This is along the San Gabriel Mountains. You can kind of just think about that. Along the San Gabriel Mountains here, going to get hit really, really hard. There's a moderate risk down here, even into Santa Monica, Inglewood, Corona. What is this down here? San Clemente, Laguna Beach, Newport Beach. Yeah, moderate risk. There's a 40 to 70%. Yeah, there's a 40 to 70% chance of significant flooding in your area. In your area. This is really bad. This is not good. Not good. Traveling to Southern California on Wednesday is not going to end well. I'm very sure about that. The Sierra foothills, definitely a slight risk for both day 2 and day 3, where we do get some of that orographic lift, a marginal risk. I would even include my area under a slight risk for heavy rainfall on day 3. So that would be for Wednesday, right? Yeah, this would be for Wednesday. Thursday, we're under a slight risk for heavy rainfall. And that includes for Southern California. Would not be surprised. Any residual moisture down here could get another moderate risk out for the higher elevations. In the San Gabriel Mountains, some of the Tehachapi Mountains, wouldn't surprise me if that happens. And then a slight risk for heavy rainfall and flooding for the Bay Area. Let's look at day 5. It's southward. So this is going to likely be on Friday. Mainly a Southern California, again, event. So we're looking at day 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 days straight of heavy rainfall potentially for SoCal. I think the worst day will be on Wednesday, as I mentioned, but a day before that and a day after going to be a rough one. I think it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. I really do pray that you guys are going to take this seriously, because flooding is nature's number one killer on that. That's why I've issued an extreme storm warning down there. So, yeah, it's going to be bad. It's not going to be good. Not good at all. But we do need the rain, I'll tell you. We really do. Can't ask for anything better. Now, there was some chatter or chitter-chatter. Any questions for the storm system for California over the next few days. Anything I missed that you want me to talk about or any questions you want me to answer? Traveling to Colorado, up 80 Wednesday morning. Oh, Charlie, I don't want to know exactly where you live, but if you're in the Sacramento Valley, don't do it Wednesday morning, bro. Don't do it Wednesday morning. Do it tomorrow. I know I hate saying that to you. I know you can't maybe leave tomorrow because you have family or the scheduling doesn't work out. But getting over the passes on Wednesday, not going to be good at all. I'm being honest with you with that. I really am. In fact, this one will give us a model. Let's use the models on this. Yeah, let's go to models. Convective allowing. Let's use this one. Let me show you something, okay? And I'm not here to cause panic or anything, but really, don't go on Wednesday unless you're smart enough and try to outrun the storm, late, like you leave at midnight on Wednesday, then that's a different story. But I just don't think it's going to be good to go. And this doesn't give us... Man, why doesn't this give us any precipitation? Oh, here we go. This is what we want. Hold on a second. Let's let this load. This is 5 a.m. Yeah, see? Where's Interstate 80 at? Okay, here is 80. 80 goes through Colfax, goes up in here. Immigrant Kingvale, Soda Springs. Yeah, you're going to have snow. More of a wet, slushy snow here. 2 in the morning on Wednesday. But if you're going to the mountains and leaving at 8 in the morning, I would just say don't go. It's going to be snowing here. I would just write off plans and be like, okay, I'm not going to go then, David. Go on Tuesday. I know it's a day sooner, but you can book a hotel. Maybe book a hotel in Reno or in Winnemucca. I'm sure hotels are not that expensive per night. But yeah, all this blue here is all snow. And then I wouldn't trust this model very much with precipitation. So let's go to the HRRR. Because you know how the HRRR can behave. Oh, our 06Z is coming in. Woohoo! Yahoo! It's going to come in on us. See, this is showing a lot heavier snowfall on Wednesday. I think this is going to be more like what we see in the mountains. And then it really doesn't taper off. It's just be snowing. But Thursday is a day to avoid. Thursday, there's going to be blizzard conditions, avalanche conditions even in the mountains. Would not be surprised by that. And let's see what our National Weather Service is saying. Go to here's Truckee. Yuba Pass. Okay. Somewhere up in here. Yeah, see this right here? Not good. Really, though, now, yeah, Wednesday is a rain snow mix. You might get away with it, but make sure you do check with Caltrans. But oh man, Christmas Day and Friday are really no travel days in the mountains. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be terrible out there. It really is. There we go. Forgot to switch that over. Let's go to here. Yeah, over Echo Pass. It's going to be, look at this. You can't get much worse than that. I'll tell you, heavy snow, heavy snow, heavy snow, heavy snow, heavy snow, heavy snow. Wow, I'm telling you. Not good, not good. Avoid travel Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I have chains and all-wheel drive. All right, Charlie B. As long as you are very careful, please, please, brother, please, up to the love of Lord and Savior, please be safe. All right. Because I'm sure you will see spinouts. There will be spinouts on the roadways. There will probably be accidents because people are like, oh, I still want to go. I still want to go and see the snow. Well, I think top priority is your life than seeing snow, in my honest opinion. Really. For the valley, though, of course, rain, and rain. They actually lowered wind gusts for my area. Interesting. For tomorrow night, but I think they're still going to be bad. But yeah, look at California, folks. I mean, you don't see that. You don't see that at all. Literally, only a few counties down here are not under any weather watches or warnings. Everywhere you look in California is under some kind of a weather alert. Oh, and they did pull off a wind advisory up here, so they did move forward with that. So there is a wind advisory for Portland. What is that for, though? Up to 55. All right. So they did pull off a wind advisory up there. But yeah, look at this. Definitely. What's up? Dude off California. How are you doing? The weather stays that we getting windy. Wind gusts 40 to 45. Wind gusts here in the Central Valley. Yeah, I think they're going to be a little stronger than that, Ariana. I think we're going to get gusts of at least 50 to maybe 60 miles an hour with the Tuesday night storm. Wednesday night storm is a different story. That one actually might end up being a little stronger. But yeah, Modesto is going to be windy. Just up and down the valley. It's going to be a stormy Tuesday night. Wednesday, couldn't call it stormy, but it's going to be very unsettled. And then we are back into it again on Wednesday. I'm excited for this, really. I am. I can't wait. Because I get to hang out with you all tomorrow night. Hello from Los Angeles area. Glad to join chat. Hey there. Eastern Skies. I see you're under a high risk, Eastern Skies. High risk for flooding. Literally insane for your area. Here's the day 3 outlook. I mean, that's what we got. If we lose power on Christmas Eve, that would be horrible. Oh, yeah. I'm already thinking that we will lose power. Already let my grandma know. I let my neighbors know that we're probably going to lose power on Christmas Eve. I'm actually thinking we'll probably lose power tomorrow night. I wouldn't be surprised if our power goes out. I have my wind meter and rain meter set up. Sweet. Guess what I got? Where is my little fancy little toy? Oh, here it is. I got this little majiggy. Got a kestrel. See that? Got a kestrel. So I'm going to be using this. SPC outlook is out, basically the same as the last forecast. Interesting. But I mean, it is a bit harder to forecast severe weather in California, but as a severe weather-ish expert in California, I do think we're going to have that upgraded to a marginal, at least on Thursday. I think a marginal risk is probable on Thursday. Let me get rid of this, though. Let's go to here. There we go. Oh, no, they pulled it. Look at, they did pull a marginal. There is a marginal risk out. There is a marginal risk out for severe weather. Yeah, that's for the 24th. That's exactly what I was thinking. There would be a marginal risk out, even for the coast as well. So, yep. Yep, there is a marginal risk for day 2 for California. Those work. Nice. Cool wind meter. Yeah, I love my Kestrel. I literally do. It is awesome. It updates every second, so I can get the realistic. I need to actually set that up, actually. I haven't had a chance to. Well, I have it set up, but I need to get it on a tripod and everything. Or maybe I'll just hold it in my hand, which is the exciting part of all of it. I'm going to have to take it with me to work tomorrow. Yes, I'm supposed to be working on the clock, but I am going to be so distracted on this storm system. Which model? It is the 5500 Kestrel series model. What this actually does, let me show you all. So, sorry if my mic, if I sound a little muffled here. So this measures humidity. Come on, focus camera. Heat index. Dew point. No, it's not 61 degree dew point. Feels like it though, but it's not that high in the house. Wet bulb temperature, air pressure, barometric, so station pressure, barometric pressure, altitude, density altitude, wind, the combo, in the combo, date and time, and wind speed. I do need to calibrate the wind direction, though. And there's your wind speed. If I blow on it, let's blow on it. You can see it right there. And that's the air temperature, wind chill, humidity. So it does it all over like that. Nice mini weather station. Yeah, this was like $400. Spent $400 for it. and it works like a charm. All it takes is a battery. Just one battery is all it takes. Close her right up, and we're good to go. Yep, we're good to go. So I'll be using that tomorrow at work. David, I do have a question. Is the wind going to be bad like January 10th, 2023? Because I remember that bomb cyclone hit San Jose very hard. I don't think it's going to be that strong. Actually, January 10th. Thank you for giving me the date on that. Let's actually look at the winds. I can actually bring up archives of that event, which is pretty cool on here. So let me bring up. So you said January 10th, 2023. So actually, let's do that. So January 2023. Let's do that. It's January 10th, 2023. And it's probably during the day, I'm guessing, right? Okay, no, this was in the morning, earlier in the day, I think. Okay, no, there. Oh, it's very early in the morning, I think. Oh, no, it's probably January 9th, I think. Yeah, because winds here are offshore. Come on, load on me. There we go. Let's see, 2 a.m. Okay, nah. Okay, this is it right here, 3 in the morning. Four. So I think it's gonna be stronger than January 10th if I just look at these observations. For sure. Actually, the lower elevations did have gusts up to 57. Yeah, this was a pretty big storm. Actually, this one, I would say it will be a bit stronger than that one. I mean, there is a high wind warning along the coast. There are wind advisories in the Bay Area. Let me see what the wind advisory is warranted for. Sometimes it's a high level one or a low level one. So let's click on San Jose. Yeah, up to 55. So that is a high-end wind advisory. I mean, a 60-mile-an-hour wind storm would assurance a high wind warning. So 25 to 35-mile-an-hour winds in San Jose with gusts up to 55 miles an hour, that is pretty significant. So I would say it will be a little stronger than that event. I don't think it's going to be quite as strong as what we had in February 4th. We all remember how strong that one was of 2024. Oh, wait, 2023. That one was really, really a big deal. It's not going to be that strong. I think, though, at Thursday, I don't think it will be as strong as February 4th. Because February 4th was just outrageous. In fact, let's actually go to February 4th. Oh, wait. Oh, it's February 5th. Wait. Oh, no, never mind. My years are mixed up. It was last year. Golly word. When time goes faster than you realize, and you're like, oh, wow, time is flying by. So, yeah, this is when it really started picking up. So of course, this event here was far stronger. I did want to show you that event here. And there was 67-mile-an-hour wind gust in Half Moon Bay. Wouldn't surprise me if we do approach that on Thursday morning. We get up that high. But yeah, 49. Let's see here. Ooh, here's a 69 during that windstorm. And look at the valley. I wanted to show you something. Yeah, look at this right here. This is big time. Yeah, 61-mile-an-hour wind gust. This was a very, very big wind event right here. This was pretty darn substantial. I think it's, given the wind gusts though, here, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we do approach wind gusts like this in the valley tomorrow night. There's my station right there, 52-mile-an-hour wind gust. Yeah, that was exciting. That was a big day. I was so thrilled about this windstorm. 56. I think we're going to have similar wind speeds in the valley, though, for sure, with tomorrow night's windstorm and Thursday mornings. I remember January 4th, 2008, I was 23 years old. Huge mid-latitude cyclone came in early morning. Peaked at 3 p.m. Wind speed, widespread damage from... Dang, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I remember some of those windstorms. I remember we were having a Christmas party and our power went out. Yeah, it's a tradition that our family does. Just before Christmas, we'll have our Christmas parties. And I remember we had family spending the night and the power went out. That was exciting. Of course, I wasn't really into weather at that age. I was only like 8. Well, wait, hold on. Oh no, I was getting closer to getting into weather at the time. So, yeah, I do remember that one vaguely, for sure. Well, the one windstorm I do remember is, of course, January 26th, 2019? 2018 or something. It was one of those years. We had a big old intense windstorm that did a lot of damage here. And that was exciting. Oh, yeah, Ariana, I do remember that the January 1st. It was actually December 31st of 2022, right? Let's look at that really quickly. This day, and this was, let's do 10 p.m. Yeah, remember this? Ah, yeah, we all remember the north wind that night. That was incredible. That was a big-time wind event. Very strong wind. That was actually a Sting jet that went over us. That's why it was so bad. There was a Sting jet that went on the back side of that low-pressure system, and that's what brought us the wind. That was a big wind event. And you can see it right here. Very significant wind. And that did knock out our power. That was a tremendous, quicker passerby or few-hour wind event that we had. That was a rare one. You don't get winds that strong out of the north like that, at least in my area. I mean, we had a 64-mile-an-hour wind gust out of the northwest out of that event. That was insane. So that was incredible. My station is not, it was here at the time. Okay. But the power went out. So it didn't capture the whole thing, but it was really a mighty windstorm. It is a monster. Thing was just a monster. I love the National Weather Service. You could really look back at wind data. And my weather station data is stored on there too. So you can look back at wind events that go that far back. Yeah, same here, Ariana. My power went out at about 10 p.m. and our basement flooded because it had rained a lot that night. I remember we ate at Habanero Hots with my uncle. My uncle was visiting for Christmas. We had the whole Christmas, or the whole family out here. And I remember my uncle was spending the night and the power went out. And actually, let me see if I could find that windstorm. You can probably hear my uncle in the background. I know this is kind of derailing off of what we were talking about, but it does talk about we did have that windstorm. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, this was the windstorm. See if we can get, yeah, here's a power flash right here. That was the 4th or 5th power flash that I got. And that was that windstorm. And one more I wanted to show you. I know you guys are like, oh, this is supposed to be about California. This is about California. But I wanted to show you one in particular when our power did go out. Where is it? What's going on, everybody? Oh, yeah, right here. What's in the dark? Oh, no, the power did go back on, I think. It went on. Yeah, here it is. And there you go. There goes your power. Boom. There goes the lights again. This is when it was really bad. Yeah, this is when it was like really bad. You could actually hear it in the house if you listen closely. This was the peak of the event when our power was out completely. And you could even see a power flash. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. Is it this one? Strong damaging winds. Yeah, right here. This is the one. Watch what happens. There's a power flash that happens. Strong damaging winds, part 30. And this is from the north. A north wind. I'm documenting this.
Night vision?
Yes, it has night vision.
You should be upstairs streaming. Oh, you can't because the computers are.
Well, that's true. Well, thank goodness you got some power to your phone, huh?
Well, I don't think the phone works.
It does, yeah. He's just using data now.
What I would do is if you have to pee, don't flush the toilet. If it's off for a while, we can't let the water run or the refrigerator door. You just open it and shut it real quick.
Power flash. Oop, power. Do you guys see that? That was a power flash that we got that night. Power flash. Oop, power flash.
Where do these power flashes come from?
To our west.
I know.
Very faint. I think that was a power flash. Maybe that's a car. I'll explain after I'm done with this section of the...
That was a car coming. There's no
Yeah, that's a car. That's a car. Actually, it wasn't. There was actually a power flash there. So, yeah, that was the biggest. And then this is one of our windstorms. I think this is how strong it's going to get here. This is our one that we had back on February. Oh my gosh, there was so many windstorms, but this is one of the more intense ones. Oh wait, no, not. Oh wait, is this? Oh yeah, this is probably how strong it's actually going to be. Tomorrow night, more than likely this strong. So that's probably about how strong it's going to be. All right, enough with that. I wanted to show you something really quickly that did get some chatter on social media. And it is really interesting. See if the Euro keeps that going, though. Let's look at the model. Is cold air, okay, it's not there, but the last model run had a lot of cold air up here in the western portion of Canada. Yeah, it really developed it here. So that is interesting because if that cold air sets up like that, that would lead to a more active jet stream over the west with more ridging across the eastern U.S. with above average temperatures. Something that I find interesting, and it did get some chatter on social media, because this would be some very cold air out here across Alaska, into British Columbia, into Alberta, Canada, all the way up here into the northern half of Canada. And, you know, we'll see if that actually escapes into the U.S., which I think it will, because that's some very cold air. I mean, those temperatures up there in Canada, if this European model comes correct, those would be temperatures at negative 60, negative 70 degrees below zero, with the apparent air temperature making it feel like negative 80 degrees. Negative 80 degrees. Yeah, that would be absolutely unsurvivable. The latest model run, it's what it shows here. Not as much cold air, but it's further north. I find this interesting right here. In 10 days, a pretty big Arctic blast coming into the United States. We will see if that actually pans out. Think there's low confidence in it right now. See. I actually did have it. Never mind. Did have it on the last run, but more north. But see, this is moving all over the place. So I'm not putting bets on that in early January yet. Look at the ensemble really quick. See, there is... Okay, no, that's 7 days. Yeah, see, this would be about the time we see that colder air. Here's a little bit of a signal. More of a deeper signal up here in Alaska with that colder air. That is interesting. That really is. See what the... And keeping it really stormy back west, I think, on this model. Get a little bit of ridging, and then it just builds back across the east again with ridging above average temperatures, it looks like. So... Let's see. Oh, wait, we did look at the Euro, didn't we? With the latest model run, or was that the 18Z run? I think we looked at the 18Z run. Let's look at what it has for our area. Interesting. The euro is like anti-low over here now. Doesn't want the low as strong, but it does want the winds pretty darn strong in California, in our area tomorrow night, though. So this seems to be a storm that will likely pan out. Let's see the next system. Yeah, that is really low. It's pretty intense. I think we are going to see winds well over 30. Got to really watch this right here, though. That moves and progresses in. Give us a good shot. And it looks like, now more active weather on Friday on this run than last run. But boy, definitely a stormy Thursday night, though. I think Thursday is going to be not good. Not good at all. So it's going to be hard, but I think pretty serious weather pattern definitely setting up for tomorrow night and also for Wednesday night. The euro is an outlier compared to some other models right now. Well, I want to hear your guys' opinions on this. Raptor, what are your thoughts about the euro compared to the GFS and the Canadian models? I don't like how the euro does not simulate winds as well. I just feel like it underdoes the wind a little bit. Even along the coast, it doesn't do winds as well. Because clearly they're going to be over 50 miles an hour on some of the high-res models. The GFS has winds far stronger than the euro does. So that's interesting. I don't like how it does the winds. I really don't. I think the winds are going to certainly be stronger. But what are your guys' thoughts? Gust sequence. Well, that's not a gust sequence. This would probably be a little bit of an impulse of enhanced wind. This model, though, however, does keep the wind up pretty much all day on Thursday. Doesn't have much of a weakening phase of the wind like the other models show. And really, winds don't really calm down at all until really Friday morning. So that interests me on that. And actually, the euro, specifically, the euro keeps our winds going. Doesn't really have a wind break at all, which I find really interesting. I really do. I just, because the high-res models are, winds are going to be still strong. Like there is a break in, kind of a break, I would say. I just can't wait for the HRRR to come into range because it's showing it already very intense. Oh, wait. No, this is the latest run. Okay, no, this is, wow. Am I looking at the latest run already? Jeez. Time flies when you're having fun. You see, this has winds stronger than the euro. It really does. I love California weather in the winter. Oh, yeah, Ariana. Definitely. Oh, what's up? Bay Area weather. How are you doing? Yeah, I know. 2% risk for tornadoes. Woohoo! We're going to get a tornado outbreak. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being sarcastic, okay? We're actually getting severe weather. Literally severe weather in California. Oh, this is going to be exciting. There's a 2% risk for tornadoes in my area. Wow. Tornado, wind, and hail. All three hazards. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Dirty 30 Grows. How are you doing? Last time I remember some good tornadoes were mentioned was when we had that slight risk in February of last year. Oh, yeah. That was crazy. We are not used to tornadoes here. I know. Ariana, we're going to have a hurricane, okay? No, I'm just kidding. This really does look like a hurricane. The rain, the wind, it's just going to be stormy. It's going to be fun. Now, our winds are going to be pretty darn strong. But the HRRR, I'm going to need to wait for the NAM 3 kilometer. That's starting to render right now. That is starting to come in. We'll wait for that to come in. See what it's going to show. I'm nervous about what this one's going to actually show us. If it trended eastward with that trough. Oh, yeah, look at this. Oh, yeah. HRRR is going hot rod on that storm. The full run is out on that. That is a big storm. Compared to the Euro, let's see what the Euro shows at the same time. Yeah, look at this. Which one's better? Euro is sleeping over here with this. Literally, just not. I mean, look at the winds, only 42 knots. And here we got 60 knot winds on this system. So I think the HRRR, it's going to come down to high-res models. I don't really look at global models. I really don't. I start looking at things like this. Because these are the models, this is the meat and grill of forecasting. Yeah, see, so I think the Euro is a little underdoing it, I think. It always tends to. Good luck sleeping tomorrow night. Oh, I'm going to have to sleep because I work the next day. I'll just probably keep the stream rolling while I'm sleeping at night and keep the phone charged. I don't know. Oh, no, I'm going to use my iPad to go live. So I'm going to use my iPad as a camera and do it that way. Man, it is so foggy. Ariana, is it foggy where you're at? Because I know you're near the Lodi Acampo area. Is it foggy in your area? Because, boy, it is really thick out here where I live. Man, it is bad. Let's actually see what my relative humidity is. It's at least 100%. I'm a little shocked about just how bad it is tonight, the fog. Yeah, we're at about 99% humidity, so we're down there. For once, it's actually in the low 50s tonight. Actually comfortable. Last night it was quite warm. I can't tell. Oh, okay. Please don't drive around in storms, people. So I'm waiting for this model run to come in to see what it's going to show. Is it weaker? Oh, we'll see. I'm curious about that next storm. Heads up, this is earthquake weather. No, it's not, Robin. No fog here, though. See, I can't remember where everybody lives. You're in the Aga. You're in Sacramento. Let me make sure I got that right. You're not seeing fog in your area. I think it's just patchy. I think it's just my area. Fog loves me. It loves me. Yep, there's no fog there. Is it foggy in Stockton? Oh, yeah, there's fog in Stockton. Oh, yeah, there is fog in Stockton. Dang, I'm impressed about this. Dense fog. Not tomorrow night, though, that's for sure. Yeah, there's this fog here in our area. See if the cameras are picking up on any of it. Oh, yeah, there's fog. Yep, you can see it forming right here. Yep, look at that. It's already forming. You can see it. You could definitely see it. See, it's moving all around right here. So it's already forming in the Walnut Grove area. So we do have fog. It is not just in my area. No fog Santa Rosa right now. No fog in Santa Rosa. Okay. Oh, you're in Tracy. Okay, I always forget. Okay, you're in Tracy. So there's no fog in Tracy. Yeah, I think it's just patchy where I'm at for some reason. Man, ew, golly. Ah, man, it's bad. Oh, wow, I can't even see across the street. I could barely see across the street. Boy, that is bad. Wow. I'm curious. It's funny, there's no fog tonight, too. On the latest ARRR, that is interesting. There is no fog tonight. I find that very interesting. Hey, there will be fog here, but it will be in the form of rain. Rain. So it looks like we're only going to get about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch in my area. See, this thing about the high-res models, they don't do it very well sometimes. You get rain here, then you don't get rain, then you get a lot of rain here. Look at Southern California, though. Lots of rain down there. Look up radiation fog in California in 2025. Lake Oroville water level 387.4 feet. That's actually pretty low. Not too bad. 901 feet, I think it is when it goes over the emergency spillway. So we're definitely under that. Good. Thank you for the report, actually. So, yeah. Gonna wait for the NAM. I'm very curious what the NAM is showing. If this trended a little bit further to the right. Oh, it did. Just a little bit, and it's a bit stronger as well. Just a little stronger. Yup, a little stronger just by a smidge. I'm excited for the storm tomorrow. Yes, I'm worried about downed trees, but you know what? That's what makes weather fun. It's what makes it all fun. So I'm curious with what the latest NAM is going to show. We got the HRRR model in with our first storm, and it shows winds of about 30 miles an hour in my area. And across the Sacramento Valley, the Bay Area, along the coast, probably over 40 to 50 miles an hour. So still looking pretty yucky tomorrow night. Spicy with the winds. See if it's on windy if it came through on windy yet, the HRRR, the 06Z run. Did we get the run? Yes, we did. Yes, it's out. So winds are supposed to start picking up here a little bit overnight tonight. Not a whole lot, but we're supposed to get winds coming up, especially tomorrow late morning. And they really do come up tomorrow. Oh, okay, this does go, wow. Okay, this does go out further than I thought. Okay, so winds do not taper off very much. Actually, they really don't taper off at all in parts of the valley. They just stay elevated now. And then comes the second wind event, the pre-appetizer, I would say, before the real stuff gets going late, like Thursday. Once this thing comes in right here, that's when the wind is going to go ape crazy in the valley. That's when it's going to go wild. What's up, Dragon Survival? Any changes for New York? Oh, yeah, I wanted to show you all that winter storm because I'm not going to make a video on it for sure. I don't think it deserves another video because I will need to get some rest tonight. I need to sleep good because I'm going to be up early watching the latest models tomorrow. So the latest Euro, let's go to that. Yeah. Rest in peace, Pennsylvania. Doesn't look good. Does not look good at all. Pennsylvania looks like a lot of pink on the screen. Yummy pink. Not so yummy if you're going to be stuck in 3/4 of an inch of ice, potentially. That is pretty bad. That's a serious ice storm right there. Big time ice. And that will come Friday during the day into Saturday. That is going to be a big ice storm. If that continues, really serious. GFS, a little lesser, but still some ice. Let's see Canadian model. It's kind of the same. But really, the Euro has been pretty aggressive at this. Let's see the snow. Yeah, snow is going to be about 5 to 8 inches of snow for upstate New York, parts of Pennsylvania into the northeast. The GFS still thinks it's going to be more snow for Pennsylvania and New Jersey than the Euro is showing. Less ice, more snow on the GFS. More ice. Oh, wait. GFS has more snow, less ice. Euro has more ice, less snow. And even a little bit of sleet in the mix as well. So, yeah, not pretty. Not pretty at all. Who wants a sunny Christmas? No one does. I know. I know it's a bummer. It really is. I know a lot of you were like, I hope for a white Christmas this year. Yeah, I don't think anyone is getting a white Christmas unless you're in the extreme northeast and the Sierras. You'll have a white Christmas. And across the Rocky Mountains, you will see a little bit of snow there. But yeah, much of the Midwest, it's a bummer. It really is. But you know what? There's always next year. I'll tell ya, no offense, I could deal without seeing a white Christmas over a month straight of no rainfall. Imagining living in California, us not seeing rain for remember 2020, we had 2 months without rainfall. That ridge was so persistent. I mean, that's more depressing because, yeah, the ridge, once it builds in, it doesn't want to leave, you know? Like this, I'll show you something really big. This is a crazy ridge right here. Look at that. Literally, there's no jet stream. There literally isn't a jet stream here. Pattern is so extreme, literally. Maybe it's Raptor's fault. No, I'm just kidding. Raptor's making the weather pattern so extreme. Maybe Raptor is manipulating the model to making it rain and storm in California. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, yeah, I remember that. The 2020 California wildfires, that was bad. And this ridge literally doesn't go anywhere. Does not go anywhere in Alaska. It might break down a little bit, but look at it. It just sits there. It just the Euro and the GFS really is going wow, I see where the ridge is. I can see where the trough is going to be. I know what's going to end up happening. Look at that. It just doesn't move. That ridge just stays right in place. If it can stay there all winter, I'm fine with us getting more storms and stuff in California. I'm good with that. No, Exion, it's not. It is not HARP. It's just the way the weather pattern is. And the reason why it's doing that is because of how weak the jet stream is. And it's because of the stratospheric polar vortex. I mean, look at this. This is not normal. This is not what you're supposed to see for a polar vortex. This thing is just really out of sync. It's just not acting normal. I mean, the stratospheric polar vortex is very weak this year. And it's because of the negative phase of the QBO really disrupting everything. So that's why the polar vortex is behaving the way it is right now, because just how the QBO is working right now. And you got two ridges. You got the Greenland block over the Atlantic, and then you got the Alaskan block over Alaska. And then you got a little bit of a ridge in the Midwest. So you can kind of paint a picture like a pattern Very standing wave, really. The pattern is not progressive at all. Really not progressive. And that could continue all the way through much of January. Let's actually see really quick while we're waiting for the NAM to finish rendering. Little bit of ridging in California, but not ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah, see, we get more rain in California here in January. And it stays pretty wet for the rest of the month. So that's based on here. And the long-term outlook does call for really wet conditions for California and the West through early February based on this forecast. The Midwest, the Deep South, yep, not good. Maybe a change briefly, and then it just gets kind of dry again. Somewhat dry, but definitely drier than normal through at least the first full week of January. See about temperature-wise. Let's see if things change. No, not that either. For the Midwest, some warm weather, warmer than normal temperatures for the high plains potentially, and maybe some cooler than normal temperatures for the Great Lakes. Of course, this is very far out. But really not exceptional. Not really crazy about it. The Euro's like, I think it's going to be cold in Alaska. That's where the cold weather is going to stick around. Probably through most of January, in fact. You can see right here, below average anomalies up there for a while. Up there in the Arctic Circle. Is this because of La Nina? Partially due to La Nina, but the pattern, the way it's behaving is not La Nina-like. It really is not. It's very El Nino-like, because the reason why that is, I'll show you right. Let's go to the GFS. GFS does a little bit better at showing this. This is a lot of undercutting, a lot of blocking in the Alaskan region. Subtropical jet kind of cuts off and reemerges into California, while you get this split flow all the way up into all the way up in Alaska and the Arctic, and then it comes down here and merges back. So this is very semi-El Nino-like. Whatever, somewhat of an El Nino pattern. Ridge here, you get your trough here. However, though, I would like to see it more progressive, the wave pattern. So El Nino here, only there's no progression. You get a standing wave pattern with this ridge here that's really amplified, and it doesn't look to break down anytime soon. So as long as your ridge is here, you get undercutting, there will be periodic stormy conditions for California. We do get this shortwave high, though, building in, but because this high is here, this high up here to the north is going to be short-lived, and it's going to get out of here by the time we go into early January, potentially. That's what we're seeing. So let's look at the NAM. Dang, NAM really backed off on this storm. Seriously. Dang, really did. See, I'm not trusting. I don't know. The NAM is just all over the place on this. HRRR seems to do a bit better job. Yeah, see, it's really with the Euro. Yeah, I think the HRRR has a better handle on it than the NAM does at this point. I think the HRRR, at least with its the frontal structure, does pretty good at this right here. And then the second monster comes in. We'll see what the NAM shows with that next one. Once we get into range, we're still at 33 hours in. Man, this takes forever to render, though. Can't believe we're going to have 5 to 7 inches of rain. Yeah, that's the miracle part of being in California. Is when it rains, it pours. Because your topographical effects really amplify the rainfall. See what the 12 kilometer shows. That goes out a lot further. Not too much further, I guess. I'm red. Yeah, I'm wearing a red shirt, reddish maroon shirt, and my background's red. I guess I'm a red cherry on the top. But how's everybody doing tonight? Happy Merry Christmas. Early Merry Christmas to a lot of you that are watching this. Being brave, watching this live as we're getting our new models in. We're only at the 12 kilometer model this far out right now. Interesting, though. By the way, if you all are new to the channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. We will be live. I will likely be live tomorrow night. Hello. Chat just died. I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for subscribing. Samurai, my love. What about Oregon? Oregon is going to get some decent wind as well from that storm that goes to the north. For sure. Let's actually go to precipitation on that. But Oregon is actually in better shape. You're going to get some good rain Tuesday night and a Wednesday. And again, that wind is going to be pretty strong. Wind advisory criteria. But really nothing too substantial, really. It's really going to be aimed into California and even parts of Nevada. Even Nevada looking quite wet. Watching from far southern Illinois. Any snow for New Year's? Let's see. Any snow for my happy, lovely viewer? Let's see, buddy. Nope. Doesn't look like it. It goes back and forth, though, so I am not putting a lot of stock in the latest run yet. This is moving all over the place. But it doesn't look very snowy. Does not look very snowy at all. But on this run, looks very cold. How about that? Yeah, cold. That's what it's going to feel like. Walker 86. Oh man, was just wishful thinking. Thanks for the update. You're welcome, Walker 86. Yeah, it's not looking promising. I'm telling you, it's very unfortunate. Really dry, just really boring and dry back there in the Midwest for at least the next 10 days. In fact, parts of Illinois may not see hardly anything in the next 360 hours. I'll tell you though, being in southern Georgia, the Carolinas, and Florida, you are not seeing anything over the next 360 hours. Good luck. You're not seeing a whole lot of anything. Pretty dry down there. Yeah, I mean, really concerningly dry. Definitely a drought-like condition setting up there in Georgia, Alabama, southern Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, even the Midwest. Parts of the Midwest, really dry, just not hopeful. Yeah, it's going to be dry for the eastern U.S. for at least the next 14 days. Looking pretty, somewhat brown there, and then green across, of course, the western U.S. And there's more snow for California, though. There it is. Moderate risk for heavy snow, moderate risk for strong winds, and a moderate risk for, or slight risk for heavy rainfall. So we're not done. We are not done yet. We'll miss 80-degree weather in SoCal. Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised you like 80-degree weather in December. Not me. I am not a person that likes the hot weather. Thank you, Walker86, for subscribing. I do appreciate it. Did you just say... Not me, no. Someone else probably said that. I had to grab some snow gear for my trip. I have no idea what to expect. Well, if you're planning a trip to the Sierra, leave tomorrow. Fly out wherever you're at tomorrow or drive to Bing if you're close enough. Don't do it on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. It's just going to be too darn yucky out. Stormy. Severe weather. Yeah. Eastern Skies. Thank you for tuning in, brother. I will be live tomorrow night. I will be live, everyone. See how it all goes with our storm. I'm going to use my iPad because I will need my phone for emergency purposes. So I'm trying to figure out how that's going to work out. But it is going to be stormy. It's going to be terrible tomorrow night. Let's see what the latest NAM is showing for our wind. Windy wind. Interesting. The low is a little further to the east on this one. Looks to be quite windy, though, on Wednesday. Really windy Wednesday, especially Wednesday early afternoon. So definitely a stormy Wednesday now. So I'm considering Wednesday as a stormy day. And Thursday for sure. Thursday morning, be obliteration stormy. For sure, leaving at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Arrive before 4 p.m. in the Sierra. Good job. Linda. Oh, wait. Say Riley. Yeah, Lindsay Riley. Yeah, good. I'm glad you're doing the travel tomorrow when it's dry. Looking good. Maybe a dusting or maybe a flurry or two up in the Sierra. Maybe something very, very minor, but I mean, not going to be anything. Be a drizzle. Be like a little flake every 5 or 6 minutes. It's nothing going to be significant. So yeah, travel tomorrow. You're doing the right thing. Gotta give Lindsay Riley a huge round of applause. You're actually traveling at the right time. But I do appreciate you all being here late tonight. I know it's late. I need to get to bed. I'm getting to bed right after this model gets done rendering. I have to be up pretty darn early tomorrow. Ooh, I'm only going to probably get at least 9 hours of sleep. So I need to get some good sleep because I do work tomorrow. And on top of this storm, I'm actually glad there will be a big storm that should keep my adrenaline up. And so I'm not so tired tomorrow. I'm actually more aware. And this thing is going to be pretty darn strong, though. This Thursday storm still looks to take the cake. Come on. Render, get out there. For sure, leaving at 1. Okay, no one has chatted yet. So, yeah, we're going to be watching this, and I will be live tomorrow night, for sure. I don't know what time, probably at like 9 o'clock will be the time I start going live. Oh, yeah, it'll probably be about 9 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm thinking it's going to be slushy. Rain during the day and night will pack some snow. I'll wait for your last update. Thank you for covering this storm. Of course, because it is in California. It's significant enough, and it's going to do cause a lot of problems. Yeah, I'm going to be covering it. Because this impacts me too. I mean, I'm in the valley. I'm in the Central Valley. I'm like almost in Sacramento County, and it's not going to be good here. It's going to be windy. I'm really curious if they're going to put this as a high wind warning or a wind advisory. Probably like a wind advisory. They're holding off on it a little bit. But I'll tell you, up to 8 feet of snow for the Sierra, though. Up to 8 feet of snow for parts of the Sierra. Locally even higher, maybe even 10 feet in some areas. And gusty winds. So you need to look at this right here. Your impacts are chain controls, road closures. Holiday travel is highly discouraged after Tuesday. Even so, it says Tuesday PM. I think it's going to be like Tuesday night-ish. I'd say like about 8 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the evening. I think it's going to be about that time when things are going to get really dicey. So if you do travel, again, do it early in the morning between now and through about 4 or 5 o'clock. Because it's going to get bad. It really is. Man, this model is taking its own sweet time at rendering. This is supposed to happen on the 23rd. Yeah, the night of the 23rd into the 24th, but really Wednesday afternoon is when the snow levels come down, and it's going to be bad on Thursday. Thursday is going to be a stormy day. Thursday is a day to not travel in the mountains. Instead, just have Christmas at home with family. Fresno County here, are we getting hit hard too? Oh yeah. Fresno. I have some family that live in Fresno. So yeah, you're down in here. So yes, you are definitely going to get some wind. Probably not as strong as areas further to the north and the northwest. So therefore, here's a look at the latest model for the Fresno area for the wind. The windy part of the system doesn't look that... It looks decent. Here it is. So you might get winds up to about 10 to 20 miles an hour. About that. Yeah, about 10 to 20 miles an hour. And then Wednesday night, once this system gets closer, then the winds come up again. Let's go to the GFS on the winds there. And you can see the winds are about the same on Thursday. The wind is going to be stronger the further north you go, though. So like from about Redding all the way down towards Merced is going to see the strongest winds. The heaviest rainfall, though, will be throughout the state. Probably, I would say, about an inch, especially along the eastern side of the valley in Fresno. We'll get the best rain. Actually, this AR is going to hit you pretty good, so I would not be surprised if you get locally higher amounts there. I have chains. I wanted to leave Saturday, but I heard better to leave the Sierra on Sunday. I don't do chains. That's up to you. If you want to leave Sunday, Saturday's going to be fine to travel home. Saturday looks to be okay. I would say Saturday afternoon would be the best. So you're kind of away from that storm window. You're welcome. Diana Bruno, 8678. Yes, you're very welcome on that. So, yeah. See, this storm is still going to contain very intense winds. And this was a good model run right here. Had some good oranges on there. Looks like winds have decreased. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. Not as strong now. Really backing off on wind gusts for the valley. Interesting. I think winds are going to be a big deal, though. I still think they're going to be a really big deal on Thursday. All right. I think that's it. I don't really have any more to say. I think we covered everything. We need yellow sustained speeds to get the big gusts. You got some yellow in your area, lucky you, Raptor. Not me, though. Not me. You got yellow and orange in your area. That's why I'm really scrungy on the NAM. I don't know. This is a bit far out in high resolution model standpoint, so I'm just gonna wait my patience. I'm really gonna just be patient and wait, because I'll tell you the wharf model is going a little, or the NCEP wharf model is going a little wild on that. I think this settles it really well with the first system. And then the second system really, I think, yeah, this does pretty good. And then this is Thursday right there with the winds. All right. I think I'm going to bed. Looking for tomorrow's forecast. It's going to be a forecast, but a live stream storm tracking. I'll do a quick update on the forecast, but we're going to actually be tracking the storm via camera. We're actually going to be doing that, and I'm going to be hanging out with you all. I'll be probably streaming all night on this for sure, but I will be sleeping part of the time because I do need that sleep. Because I work the next day and I don't want to be a zombie. All right, well, anyways, I appreciate you all joining. I really do. It's an honor for you all to be here watching me live on this storm and getting the latest update here on the channel. As always, I will be back. Most likely, I'm pretty confident we're going to have a damaging wind event tomorrow night with gusts of at least 50 to 60 miles an hour, enough to propose a live stream for sure. So I'll be live tomorrow night sometime at around 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock, because I don't get home from work until 7 o'clock. So I will be live when I get home from work. Try to get things set up quickly and then stream live all night on this big storm and then do the same thing on Wednesday night. As always, have a great rest of your night on this Tuesday morning, December 23rd, 2025. I'll see you back here later on today.